What's up, guys? It's your boy, Barca Boy 103. Today we're going to be doing the match preview for Inter Milan versus Barcelona in the second leg of the Champions League semi-final. I mean, this is probably the biggest game for Barcelona in the past 6 years. This is the moment to book your spot in a Champions League final, and I do back Barcelona in a Champions League final no matter what, apart unless it's against Real Madrid because it's a 50-50. But this is it, really. This is the final. Before the final, una misión, la final. This is the moment away from home. It's all square, all even. Whoever wins this match will be going to Munich for the final at the end of this month. But before we get into it, make sure you guys smash that like button down below, and let's try and get to 200 likes on this video. It would be very much appreciated. Also, if you are new, make sure you subscribe down below if you haven't already, and let's get into it. Kickoff time for this match will be taking place at 9 p.m. local time, so regular kickoff time in the Champions League, and this match will be taking place at the historic stadium in Italy of the San Siro, and the referee for this match has also been confirmed. It will be Simone, who is of course one of the morally highly rated referees in the world of football. I believe he refereed, of course, the 2022 World Cup final. I think he also refereed the 2018 World Cup final as well. He's kind of well regarded as top 3, if not the best referee. Our record with him is not the greatest, so we'll see. Also on VAR is the same person that's on VAR in 2022 when Ansu Fati's handball got robbed as well. So it's all kicking off at this point, but hopefully we can overcome this obstacle. Now, heading into the Champions League semi-final matchups, of course, Barcelona-Inter drew the first time 3-3. We'll talk about that later on. But the other Champions League semi-final was PSG-Arsenal, and PSG walked away with a 1-0 win at the Emirates. Of course, second leg will be on Wednesday at the Parc des Princes, and we'll wait and see what happens in that leg. We will not know our final opponent after winning this game. We'll have to wait on Wednesday and see what happens then. Of course, from the other perspective, from Arsenal and PSG, they will know who the final opponent will be before they enter the game. So I kind of like to have the position of Barcelona much better. You do your own job first, then you see what happens. I think the other way, if you're PSG, you see Barcelona go through saying, oh, we're going to have a huge tough final. If Arsenal are going to be like the same thing, like, oh, we can just beat PSG. It's a 50-50 against, Barca. That's kind of, their perspective. But we will not know who our final opponent is. It'll all be decided after Barcelona decide their fate. So if we're getting knocked out, who cares? And if we are, of course, in the final, we'll have to keep an eye on who the opponent will be. Let's now take a look at our opponents in Internazionale, of course, also known as Inter Milan. Very historic club, top 3, even we could say top 2 biggest clubs in Italian football. They, of course, have a pretty good record against Barcelona as of late. And, of course, the last time we faced them was only just last week in a 3-3 thriller at the Montjuic, the final Champions League match, hopefully, at the Montjuic. A game that was decided by fine margin. Barcelona were the dominant team over the course of the 90 minutes without a shadow of a doubt. I don't think there's even a spell of possession or a spell of play in which Inter did dominate. Their 3 goals came very, very luckily. 2 from set pieces, where, of course, they did dominate us with their height. And then 1 came very early on after Inigo slipped and left Marcus Thuram free. So they scored 3 very easy goals. Our goals were very, of course, well worked. Lamine magic for the first goal. Very well worked goal for the Ferran Torres equalizer. Of course, Raphinha's long shot from the corner kick. That was a set piece as well. So out of the 6 goals, probably only one of them was actually well worked. And that was, of course, Barcelona's goal with Ferran. The rest were all just, set pieces, lucky mistakes, and then individual brilliance as well. So even game based on the scoreline. But again, on the course of the 90 minutes, based on the face of play, Barcelona were definitely the more dominant team. Of course, Inter Milan currently sat second place in Serie A as they are still fighting for the Scudetto with 3 games remaining. They're currently 3 points off the leaders right now in Napoli. Of course, anything can happen. Napoli drop, points. It's all fair game at that point. So they could still walk away with the trophy this season. Of course, they can still win the Champions League if they knock us out as well. But again, they are, one of the best teams in Italy for sure. Now, in terms of the last, few matches, of course, we already covered the other ones in the first leg. So if you're interested in the Roma game, Inter and Bologna, check out the match preview for the first leg. Since then, of course, they played on the weekend against Hellas Verona. And in that game, they won 1-0. The goal scored, I believe, was a penalty, if I'm not mistaken. And you can see from their squad, fully rotating their 11, just as Barcelona did against Valladolid. So that means, of course, their priority is this match coming up ahead. That's kind of them saying, you know what, we don't really care about Scudetto too much, but in the end they got the win, so they're very lucky. They're still in it per se, so if they do get knocked out by Barcelona, they still have 3 games left to maybe try and do something per se. The match was actually quite even, as you do expect, especially with a heavily rotated side. They scored the penalty fairly early on in the game. I think it was the first 10 minutes or so. Hellas Verona's had a few chances in behind, which you do expect against this, weaker Inter Milan team, but I think they, controlled the game quite well. I think Correa and Arnautovic missed a few chances. Inzaghi and Hakan Çalhanoğlu were suspended for this game, so they weren't even on the touchline or on the bench or anything like that. So they got what they wanted. They fully rotated. They got the win as well on top of that, so they're going to be coming to this match fully fresh and ready to go. Now, on the screen right now is the line that I believe that Simone Inzaghi will select for this match tomorrow. He will be going with Jan Sommer in goal, a back 3, a Benjamin Pavard, Acerbi, and Bastone. A 5, of course, wingbacks being Dumfries and DeMarco. Midfield 3 of Mkhitaryan, Hakan Çalhanoğlu, and Nicola Barella. Front 2 of Marcus Thuram and Lautaro Martinez. Of course, the 2 big question marks are Lautaro Martinez and Benjamin Pavard. Of course, in Italy, they got the steroids, they got the juice. They're coming back from 4-week injuries in a week. I don't know what the hell they're doing over there. These 2 players are miraculously recovering in very, very quick succession. Of course, Inzaghi said after the match against Barcelona, the press conference, said, I don't think we'll see Pavard or Lautaro against Barcelona in the second leg. All of a sudden, they're fully fit. They're training this morning. Again, it'll be coming down to Inzaghi to take the risk, and of course, he will take the risk. We're at the end of the season. This is the time to risk players, so I think they definitely will both start. I think definitely Pavard will start. Lautaro is probably, I would say, 75% he's going to start. 25% he isn't, but again, he probably will start, for being completely honest. This, of course, is their best 11. They're starting 11, fully fit. They're ready to go now. Of course, in the first leg, we saw Bisek play instead of Pavard, and the rest of the team was the exact same. Dumfries, of course, returning as of late. It is their strongest team, a team that's going to be very, very threatening in the air and on ground duels, a team that can definitely kill teams on counterattacks, and also strong defense as per usual as well. We saw how well we did against this team in terms of it playing in possession. We got the better of them, but again, this team is still threatening regardless. So overall, final thoughts on Inter Milan. They're, of course, one of the best teams in the world. They're very well managed by their manager, Simone Inzaghi, who, of course, brought the Inter Milan resurgence over the past few years, gotten already to a Champions League final 2 years ago. I think they were in the semifinals either last year or the year before they got to the final as well. So he's done very well in Europe. I think they've only conceded 4 goals in Europe, of course, 3 of them to Barcelona. They have a fantastic record with him, and they are a very, very threatening team with him as well. In terms of players to look out for, the main threat for me per se is, of course, the wingbacks in DeMarco and Dumfries. If they get space, they can be very, very threatening in behind. I would say the front 2 as well, Thuram and Lautaro. We've seen how threatening they can be against Barcelona. The midfield 3 in the back line, I'm not too threatened for. Of course, watch out for Pavard on set pieces. He has an absolute cannon on him. We, of course, saw his goals in the World Cup and for Bayern Munich and for Inter. They're a team that is definitely well constructed and well organized, and that can be threatening in multiple different avenues. But it is quite not simple, but there is a blueprint to stop them and to minimize their threat, and that is, of course, to go in the air. Keep the contest in the air 50-50. Do not let them win second balls as well. That's where they thrive a lot. And of course, keep the spaces tight on counterattacks as well. But they're a very well organized team. They're at their home stadium as well, so it cannot get tougher than this. Let's now take a look at the squad list. The squad list for this match has been released and confirmed, and it is as follows: Kubarsi, Araujo, Inigo, Gavi, Ferran, Pedri, Lua, Ansu, Rafa, Peña, Christensen, Fermin, Victor, Yamal, Olmo, De Jong, Eric Chesney, Aserlaga, Hector Ford, Gerard Martin, Daudrai, and Noah Darvik. So no real surprises. Of course, there are some important inclusions. Lewandowski has received the medical green light and clearance this morning. He will travel with the team. According to reports, he will play in the second half. Very unlikely he will start unless Flick is going to absolutely risk him like no tomorrow. Wait and see what Flick says in the presser just after this section. But Lewandowski fit, green light. Unfortunately, no green light for Balde. Does not even make the squad. There are reports saying that, oh, he'll be in the squad, maybe he won't play, they'll check his feelings until the last second. Does not even travel to Italy with the team. Huge blow. Of course, no Kounde as well, no Marc Bernal, and no Marc Casado either. Positive reports about Casado. He should be coming back very soon in the next week or so. Of course, Kounde won't be back till the last week. Balde, of course, aiming for the Clasico this weekend. So we've got one recovery in Lewandowski, but we are going into this match with neither of our starting fullbacks. Time now to get into the press conference reaction of Dani Olmo. As we all know, in Champions League competition, a player always accompanies the manager in the presser, and today Dani Olmo was the selected candidate. So let's gonna see what he had to say heading into the big match tomorrow against Inter Milan. He came out saying the key for the match, the work and the team's determination to win. We deserved to win. It wasn't a matter of heads or tails. I imagine fighting for all titles when I came here. It's a thought that I had we could do. Barcelona, we have the team to do it. It's my first year with Hansi, and the mentality is to go all together. We are going to the death with the idea, and everything is going well. We are recovered. We're doing well. It's an important factor with games so late that every 3 or 4 days, rest is an important factor within the team. I see the team well prepared with 100% energy. On Lamine Yamal, we see the situation as normal. We know how important he is. I'm not surprised. I've seen him play this type of game at the Euros or even this season already. He's fine and calm and showing why he's one of the best. Inter playing on double marking Lamine Yamal. It means there will be a free player. Lamine has shown he knows how to play against 1 or 2 or 3 players. We will be there to help him and look for that free player. 6 years of Barcelona without being in the Champions semi-final for me is a great opportunity, as able to play semi-final against PSG in Lisbon in 2020, and now have another chance. We can make history with the club, and it's a motivation to do it. On my registration saga back in January, it was worth to come here to Barcelona. I've never regretted it. I was 100% confident from the club. It was an administration issue with me and Pau, and we're now, of course, both very happy to be here. Young players at Barcelona, it's like a party. They take the pressure off. They shouldn't make such a big deal as they should. The veterans, of course, keep them on track. The group is made of great players as well, and most importantly, we all want to win. On La Masia, success is something that speaks very well on the best academy in the world. We have a lot of trained players with 2 tournaments already won and more to come. We all know each other very well. I knew Eric, Gavi, Ferran playing with the first team is a great advantage and a big plus as well. And finally, on Flick, he's very close to us. He has a very clear message with very concrete ideas of the game. We're getting there. Everything has gone well, and we don't have to change anything. We have full confidence in him and also in his staff as well. And that included Dani Olmo's press conference reaction ahead of the match against Inter Milan tomorrow. Time now for the press conference of the manager Hansi Flick, who of course spoke immediately after Dani Olmo. And let's get and see what the Mr. had to say this evening in Italy. He came out saying, we've won 2 titles and we have a lot at stake this week. What I value most is that the players enjoy themselves and are enthusiastic. That is what makes me proud. On the young players, from when we started the season, we had no idea what we would achieve and that we would win 2 titles and now have another big important week ahead of us. I want my players to enjoy themselves. It's great to coach this team. Then of course on the fitness, as on the fitness of Lewandowski, I think it would be best for Lewandowski to start from the bench tomorrow. I spoke with Lewandowski yesterday and he's making a positive progress. He will be on the bench and he will play if needed. So no start there for Robert. Set piece issue against Inter in the first leg. Look, we coaches, we analyze everything from the outside. It can look like one thing and everything has a reason. We want to defend much better. We will change some things compared to the first leg. On Lamine Yamal, Lamine is a genius. What he does is unbelievable. He presses in the right way. At 17 years old, he helped us come back in the first leg, and he has to show this now every time he plays. On Inter, we're always focused on the opponent as a whole. They have very good players, wonderful players, but it also comes down to a collective team unit. Playing with 4 center backs tomorrow. Of course, both fullbacks being injured. The injuries affected us. I'm not happy to have injured players. There are players who can cover those positions, of course, like Eric, Araujo, Martin, Ford. They can all play in the areas of Kounde and Balde. Wednesday's game last week was unbelievable. They were a very, very strong team, very experienced, and they take care of their chances to have good defense as well. Everyone will have to be involved in the defense because they occupy the spaces well. Finally, he was asked on what his message will be for the players. Will he play a motivational video? What's going to be his, take to get them motivated and hyped up for the game? He said, "Look, you have to enjoy tomorrow's game. It's great to play at this level. We can reach the final. I don't want to put pressure on the players because you have to enjoy it. I want them to be well connected, have a good understanding, and have good ball possession tomorrow as well." And that concluded Flick's press conference reaction ahead of the match against Inter Milan tomorrow. Let's now get into the lineup prediction. We're going to start with the manager, of course, Hansi Flick. I'm going to try my best to predict this lineup. I think it will be fairly straightforward to predict, of course, barring one change at the absolute maximum. I think that Hansi Flick will select this lineup on the screen right now with Wojciech Szczesny in goal, a back four of Eric Garcia, Pau Cubarsí, Inigo Martinez, and Gerard Martin, a midfield three of Frankie de Jong, Pedri, and Dani Olmo, a front three of Lamine, Yamal, Ferran Torres, and Raphinha. So from the first leg, of course, the one change being Eric Garcia coming in for the injured Jules Kounde. Of course, the question marks are going to be, will Araujo start in this game? Will he put Inigo at left back? And then, of course, drop Gerard Martin, which, of course, he did at halftime in the first leg. I hope he does, but I don't think he will. I think after Gerard Martin's, man of the match performance against Valladolid, I think he will stick with him. I think, of course, a goalkeeper, midfield three, and front three, it's pretty much certain. I don't think Gavi or Ferran can start this game. There are a lot of debates about Ferran starting this game, but I think this is the perfect tailor-made game for Dani Olmo, and based on the rotation that he did, of course, on the weekend, it's quite clear that Dani Olmo will start this game, and it's quite clear that Gavi will not start. I think Gavi off the bench will be absolutely huge in this game, but this is where I think that Hansi Flick will go with. Of course, Eric Garcia being the mainstay at right back, and of course Gerard Martin keeping his spot at left back. I do hope that I'm wrong, but this is a line I think that Hansi Flick will select for this match. But of course, in the comments down below, let me know what you think Flick will go with. Now I'm going to show you guys my lineup, what I would do if I was the Barcelona coach, and I have made, of course, a change from Flick's lineup prediction. I, of course, have brought in Araujo for Gerard Martin. I'm not that retarded. Look, the thing is with Inigo at left back, it just doesn't sit right with me. It's not that comfortable. I think for Priest against Dumfries, he's going to get absolutely rinsed, especially in a high line. He better have his offside trap and awareness at absolute pin perfection. I was also highly considering starting Christensen instead of Eric Garcia and putting Araujo at right back. I think that is probably our best back line against this Inter team. Just get as much height as you can. Of course, Eric Garcia not starting against Valladolid, and Christian was starting. Quite clear that it's going to be Eric, so I will be going off that basis. But for me, I think our best back line for this game will be Araujo at right back, Christensen and Cubarsí in the middle, and then Inigo at left back. But Inigo at left back is scaring me. I'm not going to lie. Not because I don't trust him defensively or anything like that. I just think for pace against Dumfries, he is going to get cooked. But hopefully, the offside trap is on pinpoint perfection, because I'd rather have a slow, out of position Inigo Martinez than a fully fit prime Gerard Martin, which says how shite he is. But would hopefully love to see a potential Christensen. Maybe off the bench will probably be a better impact than starting, but I think this is probably the most realistic line that I would select if I was the manager. But of course, in the comments down below, let me know if you're going to pick my lineup or Flick's lineup. Time now for my score prediction. What do I believe the result will be in this match? Lads, words cannot describe how nervous I am. This is the biggest game for Barcelona in the past 6 years or so. Like, I am absolutely bricking it. My official prediction is a 1-0 win to Barcelona. Why? We've seen it a few times this season. Of course, we go back to the Copa del Rey semi-final against Atleti. First game, high-scoring draw at home. Second game, 1-0 defensive masterclass win. The issue in that game is that we had Kounde, and I'm pretty sure we had Balde as well, whereas in this game, we won't. This scoreline prediction for me is being very optimistic. I would actually bet a lot of money that Barcelona will concede. Why? Just for Inigo at left back. Again, not because I don't trust Inigo, I just think for pace, he will leave a lot of space in behind and will have a low speed rate to recover, which will be very unfortunate. That's why I think that's why Araujo starting at center back will be a big plus, match the speed on that left-hand side. But I do see Barcelona, getting an early goal. I think a goal in the first half and just absolutely defensive masterclass in the second half. That's how I see this game going. I think that's probably the only way Barcelona will win. There's a lot of ways we can lose this game, enter getting an early goal, of course, beating us on corner kicks, beating us in the air on those ground duels. I think that Barcelona's only game plan is to be very effective in tight spaces, progress the ball well, give it to Lamine, and inshallah, pretty much, and get a goal in that first half. Again, our first half record in the Champions League is very good. I think we've scored a goal in every single first half in the Champions League this season, apart from the Benfica 1-0 win in the round 16. Yes, Inter we did, Dortmund. Of course, Dortmund in the second leg we didn't. That's another example. But our first half record of scoring goals just the season overall is very, very, very good. So hopefully we get that goal early on, keep it tight in the back, get that 1-0 win that we do need. But I do highly suspect that we will concede. Need a Szczesny masterclass in goal. He's been very, very poor over the past few weeks. Need him to, wake the hell up, get the smoking in, do what you gotta do, be the El Fumador that I miss. But I'm confident and optimistic, but of course there's that thing behind me. May 6th, green kit, away from home, second leg semifinal. I don't know, man. I don't know, but I back the team. They've shown me a lot this season to back them, so I will back them. I'm going with a 1-0 narrow win for Football Club Barcelona. But of course, in the comments down below, let me know what you think the scoreline will be. So that's a match preview for Inter Milan versus Barcelona in the second leg of the Champions League semi-final. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, of course, make sure you drop a like down below. And of course, in the comments down below as well, let me know your thoughts on everything we did discuss. The main thing I want to first see, of course, is your score prediction, and secondly on those lineups. Firstly, would you rather pick my lineup or Flick's lineup? What do you think Flick will go with? What would you go with if you're the manager? Leave me all your thoughts down below, and of course make sure you guys subscribe down below as well if you haven't already, and I will see you guys tomorrow for the live watch along. Set the reminder on the screen and come and join me and watch the game with me. Fall straight after the match by my match reviews. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Huge game ahead. I'm already shitting my pants, and we're not even 24 hours away from the game. I am so nervous, but I do have trust in this team, and hopefully you guys do as well. So I'll see you guys tomorrow. Take care, and Forza Barca.
Yeah.